At the end of your life, what will be your legacy? What will you leave behind for future generations? For the world, join the World Messenger, Izabela Lundberg, each week as she brings you a new distinguished guest from the business, sports, or entertainment world to share their success, their struggles, and their lessons. They will share their insights into current hot topics that affect everyone. Izabela facilitates an intimate, vulnerable environment to find the true value of humanity and real leadership. Are you ready for your legacy? The legacy that matters?
Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Izabela Lundberg here, the World Messenger, and I'm inviting you for another epic episode of Legacy Leadership. I have in studio someone that absolutely will blow your mind. He is young, he is ambitious, he's successful, he is breaking boundaries as we never seen before on the global scale. And he is all about, guess what? Legacy leadership. He just published a brand new book, which I cannot wait to tell you what it's all about and where you guys can find in the next month, but also how you can pivot your business from global perspective. He's in charge of Middle East, Japan, India, and he's also bridging gaps with Royal Venture Capital. He is representative of Royal Family in Dubai. And without further ado, let me introduce you to great colleague here, Pranav Jyoti. Pranav, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Izabela. Very appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's just an absolute joy to have you on the Legacy Leadership, specific with someone who not only gets it, but breathes, eats, and can really highlight some really amazing things. First of all, why is legacy important to you, and why is legacy important to Royal Family and specifically in Middle East?
You know, businesses today have been broken up into really simplified glorifications. There are businesses which are built to last and businesses that are built to exit. I'm very clearly of the view that businesses create a better life, not only people who work, but also with civil society around it. And I think it's very important to build value and structure that out. And I think that's where the focus of creating legacy is very important. The focus of building businesses for tomorrow starts today, and the foundation of today has to be laid for times which may last even more than us. So creating a legacy is really about sustainability. It's all about purpose, and often the word which people don't use, profit. Profits have to align towards making people who work for it and people who work with it and make an impact on that. So that's really the purpose, finding people who can partner, who can create opportunities, not only in the markets that they are currently in, but how global tie-ups can happen and build value around it. So that's really it. It's simple. It's people, purpose, and partnerships. That's where we work very closely with. Of course, the denominator is trust and how we have been using our partnership ecosystems around the world. And thank you for having us. I know how many leaders work with you, Izabela, and we should use learnings and abilities to make the world a better place.
I love that. And both of us have extensive global background, right? You are being traveling, as far as I understand, being in 14 different high schools before you graduate because you moved so much and you always landed. And we know how disruptive that can be for someone who is of young age and trying to establish himself socially. But you also have, as a result, tremendous wealth of experience. But we can draw from that. And if you don't mind, where do you see that legacy is right now the most important, in which cultures? And why do you think it's so important to have a intentional succession planning, intentional partnerships for that greater good and for social responsibility, and obviously everything else related to that?
So, I have, in my previous experiences, legacy is something which everybody drives in. But, cultures in different parts of the world are definitive of the economy they work with. So if you look at America, which has always been the capital hub of the world, they've been capitalistic, they've been extremely innovative. Europe has always been about the past history. It has its own backgrounds about what to do with potential mythology. Asia on the other side is all about relationship. And I think these are three key elements which drive tomorrow. If we are able to mix capitalistic ecosystem with history of Europe and relationship of Asia, Middle East, Africa, I think that is where our tomorrow is coming in. And with world becoming smaller, with technology bringing us closer, and also people that we can build who we can work cohesively, remotely, and also successfully, creates a far more effective, capable team. And I think that's what we work with. I've grown up in multiple geographies, and one thing it teaches you, Isabella, is that if there is ability to trust each other, is comes from an understanding of each other. So I think that's where we want to build our value, and that's how we are able to success long-term perspectives.
That is fantastic. And I love, again, your take on that you're looking things from multiple perspectives. We have to always pay attention to what's going on in other parts of the world, where the opportunities are, where the needs are, and how can we make stronger, better alliances. And one thing that I want most to notice, and you obviously in the Middle East right now, and the hub of innovation and transformation, and also the hub of legacy, because I never seen in any other culture for decades that I've been studying legacy itself and the legacy leadership as a crown jewel of all leadership, because it is as a huge commitment. It is a huge responsibility in the same time. And also it is definitely driver to constantly produce value, as I'm seeing obviously now happening in that region. Do you mind sharing a little bit from your perspective, sitting in Royal Office, having those strategic meetings and opportunities to dialogue and see, why do you think Middle East is really getting that very well? And what can we learn from that?
So first and foremost, I think Middle East is such strategically positioned globally that it really is becoming the locational hub. It was always the trading hub, but it's becoming a strategic people hub between the West and the East in that sense. One of the things which Middle East has always been known for is its oil. And as there is industry movement towards other areas of what oil is used for, Middle East is internally questioned that what more can it do to build their own legacy, and I think that is such a phenomenal thing when geographies and countries like UAE, Saudi, and some of these countries look into themselves to create a better future for their children and potentially the world. I think one of the things comes up very quickly is that how can we bring technology, how can we bring people, and how can we bring leaders to really understand and value the infrastructure that has been built to make a better tomorrow. And I think UAE is not only build value in terms of initial orientation of expat movement coming in, but today it's really becoming a place where people are considering moving from all over the world to make it their first address. UAE was always their second or third address, but I think it is now moving to an environment where it is the first address. With many policy changing and many policy for businesses changing, it gives an opportunity to create a very long gestational control perspective of making an impact and building value around it. And I think that change will drive the decision for long-term impact and really solidifying the perspective of it becoming the global hub. And with family offices, royal offices really taking charge of helping new businessmen, new startups, new government partnerships, and taking the leap of not only funding them, but also create an environment of making them successful. I think that has been a very central conversation of making everybody who comes in more flexible, more transparent, and more successful. And I think that is one of our consistent conversations that we like to do. And that's why companies between history, both in Europe, in the US, in say Asia, Japan, are all considering a parallel office structure in Middle East. And I think that creates an opportunity for long-term development. And I think that is what has changed with the markets that developed 20 years back. Countries like Hong Kong developed as a global hub. Maybe many years back, it was Amsterdam in Europe. And I think today, it is definitely Dubai, Middle East, which is creating that hub. And the Royal Office really pumping in growth capabilities, not only for identifying and acquiring new talent, but new businesses as well, and creating really for the world. They don't want to keep it for themselves.
That is fantastic. And it's so great for listeners that are watching and listening to hear this, because keeping the pulse again on the global scale and how to position, with who to position, and where the other opportunities are, it's crucial, because as some things move slow in one region of the world, in others, they're expanding, they're growing rapidly. And it's always great opportunity for very innovative, transformative, high-end caliber of leaders. It's always a shortage of them. But don't you think?
Fantastic question. I think one of the things which is happening is really respect. And I think UAE has always respected people. It's one of the safest spaces in the world. Women are extremely safe, and it gives ability to curate not only family, but diversity at work. And I think that has created an environment today which has really global in that sense. So it is not only creating an environment of really cohesive partnership between genders, but also around opportunities that create a better tomorrow. Because, if all genders operate together in a cohesive environment, ideas are better, creativity is better, execution is better, and you just have a happier environment. And, if you're happy, you tend to do better. And I think that's what UAE and we strive for. So if you are able to drive family office structures for either fundraising, either drive family office structures for strategic partnership, for increasing market growth, capital. And I think that creates an opportunity for people to get associated with. So better people come in, better families grow, children are happier. And, that creates such a joyful environment while making a better place. And that's what creates legacy. Legacy cannot be quarter by quarter profitability. Legacy is all about consistency. Legacy is all about control. Legacy is all about automated success. And, it can't be shaken through 1 year or 2 years of bad situations. And if you see, that's been the consistent growth pattern around it.
I love your perspective on legacy too, because obviously everybody has their own definition and meaning, and then also how they live their lifestyle. And I'm also glad that you're highlighting when you're in a happy, thriving environment, you're more innovative, you're more also effective as a leader, and also you produce better results, you better partner, you better colleague, and ultimately you shine in your expertise. But one thing that I'm really also excited about your philosophy, how much you are eager to give back and how important it is for you also social impact. So do you mind highlighting a little bit about that and things you've been involved in also as individual, and also obviously as a representative of royal family, how you navigate that aspect?
Well, let me break that into two important parts. I think one of the things which is very critical is giving back. I think giving back is our central core of making our own ecosystems in place. And I don't even think it is a choice, it's really a duty. I think not only choosing to educate the underprivileged, but also to really help poverty elevation, healthcare. These have been personal agendas to make ourselves better. I often don't talk about it, but since you spoke, I think one of the key things that we are trying to value proposite is really three pillars. It's healthcare, it's clothing, it's food, and it's education. So these are four elements that we want to work very closely with. And I think that drives a better tomorrow through better people. If you have happier people, you have people who have been generated capabilities, I think that has created opportunities for them. They will resonate in that sense. So I think that has been my personal drive to build access. On the other hand, I think one of the things which Royal offices have done consistently has created an impact to drive clear CSR, clear objectives towards any organizations that they work with, to identify projects and policies which create not only an environment for long-term impact, but also their responsibility socially. So socio-commercial partnership to make world a better place is the way they do it. If we are able to build organizations for tomorrow with legacy, and we are able to instill their ability to create orientations that make an impact socially for projects that are necessarily, and they have legacy, we have consistently addressed the situation of making sure things happen for a long period of time. It is not short term, it is not reactive, but it's something done as just a way of life. And that's something that we believe in, and that's something that becomes a part and parcel of the way we operate. We can create policies around it, but I think if we instill it within people, and if we have to walk the talk, then we should.
That is a great reflection to know that you succeeded, right? When everybody else is seeing the value and working towards the common goal. With that in mind, I'm curious if you don't mind sharing, since you're sitting in the Royal Office in Dubai, what do you see as a core of their value proposition towards legacy? Because obviously what they did in the last 40, 50 years, it's mind-blowing. And a lot of people that didn't have a chance to experience Dubai firsthand, but at least did some research reading, I would love them to hear from you what they are setting up for their legacy. They already established so many layers of it as it is, but I'm curious where they're headed for the future generation.
I think one of the things which is very important, Izabela, is to understand the Royal Office is really agnostic to a certain category. They are consistently looking at great people. I think the ability to look at and identify people who they can partner with is automatically going to address markets or even categories that can happen. It's a person's past experience and expertise doesn't reflect their contribution of future. Someone in healthcare could be a great person who could do great work in education. Someone who is an engineer could be someone who could do great stuff in blockchain. And I think that is very important, and they realize it very early on because, Royal offices also come with large families. Large families have great abilities to do multiple things within their multiple portfolios, not only to give partnership, but also to create long-term value. And I think that creates a very simple point of what you asked is that, end of the day, it's not about size of the investment or the category of the investment. It's about the person who's reading it. If the person or the team has a certain determination to make an impact, to make world a better place, and I'm going to keep on saying this, that consistently creates an opportunity that has long-term impact, successful opportunities for having the society benefit, for making the world aligned towards potential large ecosystems. And I think that is very important. And so they focus on people, they focus on identifying and enabling that person is giving all tools, that they focus on creating an environment which is cohesive. And they also create a very interesting opportunity of creating B2B partnerships on initial contracts or businesses so that they have a runway to succeed. And once that happens, it is inevitable that they will consistently work better. And of course, they're highly governed. So we know that they are working in the right direction. Today, technology helps you to be more transparent. So I think all of that becomes very, very opportune in that sense.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned transparency, because that is a huge cornerstone of effective leadership: transparency with integrity and also with accountability. So when we have those three elements present, magic happens. And you're right, then you're laying very strong, successful foundation. Speaking of that, back to you now, Pranav, you already created amazing foundation for yourself. You're very young. I mean, I'm just fascinated by your passion, by your drive, and how much you accomplished in such a short period of time as young as you are, and specifically on such a large global scale in diplomatic relationships, and then also obviously expensive growth on global scale. So obviously you graduated from Ivy League University. You've been on Dean list, which I'm being absolutely not surprised at all, knowing how you think and also how you act, how you conduct yourself. But I'm also now curious, you just published the book. The book that is not available yet to the public, will be soon, that has very important story behind. Do you mind, first of all, share with the audience what is the book all about, and what are you trying to accomplish with your personal leadership and legacy?
Well, the book is called Direct, and the reason why it was called Direct is because it was both direct from the heart, it was direct from the situations, and it is direct to people who want to understand the way they can work with royal offices. It's a cluster of situations and stories which we have gone through, which have helped solve many complicated issues. So it has both venture capital companies, it has individual, it has small companies, it has founding companies who have come to UAE, and how we have kind of aligned our ecosystem between helping them commercialize, helping them fund, helping them find the right people, helping them find the businesses across, and I think more importantly, helping them succeed. Unlike venture capital or other investee companies, always understand that the royal offices cannot afford to fail. Any partnership is very important because, often I have heard from venture capital that, 2 of my 10 investments succeed. What happens to the rest of the 8? And I think it's the other way around for family offices. It's like investing into a child. If I have 10 children, I can't only send 2 children to college. I have to send everybody to college. I can't choose those. So I don't think that is the right way to do it. And I think the way to do it is really helping people succeed and making sure that others go through long-term value to build a successful venture. And I think that creates an opportunity to create an impact. And I think that's a value which we kind of are very keen to share with people. And that's what the book is about. It's really direct. It's really pointed to situations. It's a good culmination of stories that we have all gone through as leaders while building firms. And I hope it's exciting and people have that. We have 2 volumes of it, but we hope to continue writing more and more in various categories. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to give you a signed copy of it.
That's fantastic. I love that. And I cannot wait to read it and hear more about it. And the big release date, it's coming up in August, I heard, right?
15th August. 15th August. We had a lot of stories between India and UAE, keeping in mind that they have very close interactions. So it has a significant storyline orientation between India and UAE. And 15th August is India's Independence Day, so we found it apt to really announce it that day and create an independent view of the Direct.
I love that. Not only from the title that is simple, that is engaging, direct, how we lead, how we conduct ourselves, how we communicate, but also how we resolve the issues. And I also love the premise of the book that you are advocating how can we increase margin of success, that it's not good enough from 2 projects of 10, the 8 fail and only 2 succeed. How can we increase probability of everybody succeeding, what they're lacking, what they're missing early on, based on knowledge, strategic partnerships, but also truly effective ways of leading and conducting business. Congratulations. I'm super eager to see. And I also love that you have a deeper meaning about when it's going to be released. So with obviously very strong Indian heritage, and you come from very successful Indian family. I had a privilege to meet some of your relatives, your mother, your uncle, your sister, of course, yourself. But I'm being really impressed. How is everybody having their own identity and their own rights based on their skills, interests, and passion, and building their own legacy, and then also contributing for the greater good. So it's such a great tapestry for success. Do you mind sharing for audience, what would you say from everything you experienced since since birth, what was the most fundamental components to your success where you are today?
I think family. Family is very, very important. Friends, family, partners have been incredibly important. I don't know, I'd call it a success. I think it is a shared moment. Every moment defines the next step. I value time spent with peers for feedback. I value time spent with people to talk, to make ourselves better. And I think that creates an opportunity for all of us to build the next step, because end of the day, it's all about people. It's all about creating stories. And I think we have been able to build a continuous momentum of getting feedback. And if you get right feedback with people that you trust, or people that you are close to you, I think we are able to align ourselves for a potential success. While success doesn't always mean monetary, success doesn't always mean public adulation. I think success is just inner peace. And if you are able to identify what you believe in, what you can, I think that's really it. And I think that's something that we strive for. I enjoy spending time with family. I enjoy spending time with friends. And we are thankful that hopefully they do enjoy spend time with us too. So I think it is what it is. So I think that is far more definitive in terms of what success means to us. And I think at the end of the day, you keep on focusing on making world a better place. You succeed, you win, you lose, and you fail. And I think that's just a part of life. You just keep at it.
You're absolutely right. It's always ebb and flow, right? But I love how important it is, family to you. And if COVID taught us anything, when everything got disrupted, how important it is who we have in our own inner circle, for our own family members or friends or strategic advisors or partners who truly genuinely care about us and our well-being, and also well-being of others that are contributing to their success on a daily basis. So it's such a beautiful way to reflect on that. And with that in mind, I really are dying to hear. Obviously, you are living your legacy. You're leading with your legacy. You already established outstanding footprint thus far. But what is there that you deeply down would like to accomplish and be known and remembered for as your contribution to the world and your personal legacy?
See, I think one of the things that really excites the work that we do is the ability for all of us to invest in startups and invest in companies to help them scale and make them bigger and make them more successful. I think that's really what we are striving for. The opportunity to help funds where they are looking to invest in great startups, helping them succeed, helping them go to the next level is an opportunity. And I think what is important is that we have the constant opportunity to keep on doing that. And I think that creates huge connected storylines. And I think if our storylines in some ways can enable people's success and potentially make world a better place, what better legacy to leave behind? I think stories are our legacy, people are our legacy. And if we are able to combine and have some part of that you were keenly involved in something like that, then so be it. So that is something that we're excited about. Today, we are investing in more than 60 countries. We are investing more than $100 billion. We are looking to manage over 140 large families. We are looking to help large family funds. We are looking to invest with venture capital funds who are constantly raising, and we are helping them. We are helping companies build boards. We are helping them create opportunities to make them more successful, more profitable, and aligning partnerships so that their opportunities to build new areas of revenue generation becomes quicker, work with governments, and help large contracts be far more effective so that things are far more transparent and more effective, with opportunities that come across the world and not one location. So yeah, so all of that creates exciting times and moments. And hopefully we should have some points which we will discuss later in our life to say this changed the world.
Yes, this is the conversation to be continued and bring you back, and not only on the Legacy Leader Show, but other lives and future projects where we can amplify not only amazing work you're doing, but also great success and tremendous impact that is going to be created as a result. And in closing, if you don't mind just sharing what's left in the bucket list, and also for people that are eager to get to be part of tremendous shift and growth and opportunities and contribute the best of the best in their own right to be part of this amazing movement that you're creating. How do they can get in touch and do that?
Oh, LinkedIn is the easiest. I think people can get in touch on LinkedIn. I'm usually available over an email as less than 24 hours. But I think one thing is very important. I think the storyline is never to ask for money. The storyline is to talk about purpose. If that purpose is clear, capital is not an issue. Finding the right people is not an issue. And I think that kind of defines a moment for me for every partnership that aligns. We've never said or let anyone go because of capital, but we have always been very cynical when someone just comes and asks for monies and doesn't let us participate with them. So partnership is very important. And I think, like I said earlier, even the royal families or even Japanese companies or even Indian companies are really looking to grow, not only grow via investment, but grow via partnership. And I think that is a very critical aspect for people to understand. And we, of course, work very closely to make that work. And if that works, then people have taken a leap of faith to make it work. Otherwise, it becomes very, very transactional. And for us, it's not the transaction. It's the orientation of a family. It's an orientation of making things work. And it's an orientation of making everybody successful. And that's really it.
That is so refreshing, uber exciting, and I'm sure that everybody watching and listening is on the edge of their seats and super uber to explore further. But in the same time, I absolutely cannot wait to see the impact and implications, because world needs these types of solutions more than ever, Pranav. And it's just so great to speak with you as visionary leader that is so intentional about your legacy, as well a legacy that you represent at Royal Office.
Lovely. Thank you so much for having me in, Izabela. It was joyful. I know this is one of our many conversations, and hope to talk to you on various subjects later on. But appreciate you spending time and announcing the book, and look forward for having many such people. Maybe we should do a book reading once it is officially announced.
Absolutely, we'll do that. And thank you again for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for listening to Legacy Leader Show. If you enjoyed the content and had a positive experience, then please leave us a positive rating. In addition, Leave us positive review whenever you are listening on whatever platform there might be. Make sure your friends and family also know about the benefit and value that we provide and what we have to offer. Cheers.